Joins this list of superstars who have 2 Super Bowl appearances and 1 Super Bowl win in their first 5 seasons. Brady, Hurts, Mahomes, Russ, Big Ben, Kurt Warner, and Troy Aikman. What did Jalen prove to you, Nick?
All right, so quick story, if I may. Saturday night before the Super Bowl, late. I'm at the Clutch Sports Party. Having a good time. I don't work the next day.
Sure.
Few drinks like most people are. And a woman walks up to me and says, I need to ask you one question. Why do you talk so bad about Jalen Hurts? I was like, well, I don't think I talk bad. And she was not budging a bit. It's like, no, you do. And I was like, well, let me tell you the good things I've said about him. I actually referenced the college thing. That's not what I'm worried. And once this goes on for 5, 6, 7 minutes, I have a little moment of clarity. I say, ma'am, can I ask you one question real quick? She said, yeah. I said, are you Jalen Hurts' mother? She said, yes, I am. And it went on for another 15 minutes where I think very cordial but intense mother defending her child against someone who she thinks has been unfair to him. And she ended it with this. She said, I just want to know what you're going to say when he wins tomorrow. And because I'm me, I'm like, well, if he wins. And then she says, no, when he wins. And I said, well, I've got to see how he plays. But I promise I'll be fair. So, to Mrs. Hurts and to anyone else, he was phenomenal. The Chiefs did do the thing that I think anyone who was confident the Chiefs would win thought, stop Saquon and you win. That's the one thing they did effectively game plan-wise. And it didn't work because Jalen made every play that was asked of him. It's the 2nd Super Bowl he's played in, great in both. It's the 4th conference championship game or Super Bowl he's played in. He's been great in 3 of them, and the one he wasn't great, he didn't have to be. It was the game Purdy got knocked out of, and that game was basically over immediately. And so he is as impressive as a leader as just about anyone in the sport, and the team he leads just had, in my opinion, a top 5 all-time Super Bowl performance by a team as far as what they did on both sides of the ball. So we were debating this last week. To me, this is what I will say about Jalen. Because I do value the winning, I do value the toughness, and I do value the big game stuff. I don't view it as a big 4 quarterbacks in the league. I think it's now 5. I think he is. I think it is unfair to say that Joe or Lamar or Josh are just definitively, clearly in a different class than Jalen. I think he's got to be in that class. No, at the bottom of the class, sure, but in that top 5. And so that's what I would say.
That's saying a lot. Wow. Well, look, I've said for a long time now, and I think all of us have, that Jalen Hurts is a winner. All right? But that's always been based on his leadership, his demeanor, his professionalism, the way he carries himself, his intangibles. But now he actually has that tangible reward that says, yes, he is indeed a winner. And you mentioned it, you showed some graphics with his Super Bowl performances. And I compared him to, well, I didn't want to get to it this quickly, but here you go. You talked about Russ. You like the Russ comparison I made last week, Nick. I compared him to Bradshaw. And I like the Bradshaw comparison too. And I know Bradshaw won 4, but Bradshaw his regular seasons weren't like he made the Pro Bowl only 3 times. He often, several years, had more interceptions than touchdowns. I get it was a different era, but he was always at his best in the Super Bowl and made the big plays when they need him. Look at his passer rating. Again, different era, so the passer ratings were lower back then, but still, he jumps from a 71 passer rating in his regular season career to 112 in the Super Bowls, which is one of the best ever. And look at Hurts. He does the same type of thing. You mentioned the conference championships. Now we have the 2 Super Bowls. This guy, going along with the winner label, is at his best when he needs to be. And he's proven that to us this year even. Against Washington in the conference, championship game, played well. Against Pittsburgh after A.J. Brown and others questioned his passing, played well. This game, The Chiefs, you're right. They shut down Saquon. Saquon averaged like two yards a carry. But Jalen did what people didn't think he could do, which was kill him with his arm and his legs. And so, those passer ratings, that doesn't even account for his 4 running touchdowns in 2 Super Bowls. So I agree he's a winner. And I do think it's still a big 4. And I think Jalen, I think that 5th spot is always in flux. It could be Jaden, it could be Jalen, but he's got the Super Bowl, so if you want to put him in
just
there.
real quick, the reason to me there was a clear 5th, and it was Stafford. And so it's not fair for Stafford's big argument is the only active guy to win the Super Bowl other than Mahomes. Well, Jalen beat Stafford this year, and Stafford turned the ball over. And now Jalen beat Mahomes and won the Super Bowl. So, like, to me, maybe it's harder for you because you didn't have Stafford 5th.
Right.
But you know what I mean? I can't – if I had Stafford 5th and now Jalen's done this and you assume Jalen's, on the upward trajectory and Stafford's holding on because of age, to me that's a fair spot that can be his.
He simply proved that the moment is never too big for him. Like, we always talk about the it factor, and I know fans always are probably asking, well, what is it? It's whatever it needs to be. And that's Jalen Hurts. Like, all season long, I question whether or not he can consistently throw the ball and be the driving force. He wasn't asked to be the driving force. This game, you alluded to it, we knew what the Chiefs were going to take away. They were going to eliminate and try their best, which they did successfully, take away Saquon Barkley. That then only leaves who? Jalen Hurts in their passing game. We knew going into this game, you got to throw the ball. You got to be accurate. You better be efficient the way that you've been with throwing 17 to 23 times a game, whatever the numbers were, in the biggest and brightest of times and moments. And he did that. Like, not only is the moment not too big, he never allows his disposition to shift. Right. And that to me speaks even more volumes when you're in a game like this and you're either down or you're up big and you're constantly telling your guys, no. Yeah. We saw Saquon when they didn't get the penalty. A.J. Brown got the pass interference. They felt the type of way. And Saquon's like, he's on the sideline, like, no, guys, leave it alone. Let it be. Right. That's the type of leadership Jalen Hurts has always showcased. And when you're in games like this, your poise, your ability to be calm despite what's going on, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, like, that permeates throughout your sideline. And that's what happens with this young man. Like, he's just proven, if you need me, whatever you need me to be, I got you.
2 stats, regular season and playoffs. We showed this prior to the win, and it was like, hey, if he wins, this is going to be where he's at. I mean, Nick, he does belong amongst this group. This is also some of the best quarterbacks, in the history of the game. What do you want to do with this statistic?
Well, no, I said if he wins the game, the Russell Wilson early career comp is the right one. And so, like, I think I'll stand by that. You know what I mean?
Can I ask you what? We used to talk about Russ being on a Hall of Fame trajectory.
Well, not after the not after the first few years of his career. Right. It was and this is something you probably don't like, but it is kind of how we talk quarterbacks historically, or at least the last 20 years in the media. Russ got more individual credit once the team was done going to Super Bowls. When they were just a consistent, when they didn't have the great defense, when Marshawn wasn't there, and they were a consistent playoff team because he was the engine of the offense.
All 10 wins.
Right. It was, and so it was, and he was a consistent Pro Bowler, consistent playoff guy, never hurt, and what he had, he kind of did in reverse order of most quarterbacks. He already had the Super Bowl boxes checked, and then he started checking off the great stats boxes. So you're asking me is Jalen Hurts on a Hall of Fame trajectory? That I will say is, that is a bridge too far for me this morning or this afternoon. What day is it? I don't even know. But what I will say is that it is unfair to question if he can do it.
Oh,
because he's done it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we can, and this is where the hypotheticals, and maybe this is dumb analysis to some people, Brew. So much of it is binary. Like, he won the game. This game in a small sample size sport against a team trying to be the best ever. Like, it doesn't now matter to me as much as it did before of what if he, didn't have Saquon, didn't have the deep. He was the quarterback here for this team. 2 of the last 3 years they were in this game. He was great in both. They could have won either, and they blew the Chiefs out in this one.
Well, and people are going to have to realize with him, you judge him differently. He's not going to be judged by throwing for 280 yards a game or 3 touchdowns a game. He's going to do it. Like, I don't think as long as Saquon's there in his prime, they shouldn't change a thing.
No question.
Continue to throw 23 times a game with Jalen and let Saquon be the bell cow until he can't anymore. And then, if you have to go to, because he's proven he can throw it when he needs to. But I don't think they need to start trying to throw it 35 times a game. He's a winner. He's going to get his credit by doing it differently than, and we said it, first running quarterback to ever win a Super Bowl, if you consider him a running quarterback.
Greg, congratulations.
Thank you.
He's living the life today you should be.
I'm a Mahomes guy.
Do you realize, can I say something real quick? After last year's Super Bowl, Patrick Mahomes tweets, never a doubt. I say it's like the greatest moment.
Yeah, that's nice.
You had an opportunity.
You did.
Had you picked the Eagles, when Jalen Hurts on Fox,
defense
wins championships,
yeah.
It could have been, and by the way, given my interaction, we know at least the family's aware of the show. You could have claimed the whole thing. You really blew it, buddy. You blew it.
I like Mahomes.
We could have shared this moment.
I know. I'm a strident Jalen Hurts defender. You guys are all just coming around. I said all this stuff months ago.
Be like me and act like you picked the Eagles. Go Eagles.
Did your view of Patrick Mahomes change? That's next on First Things First and the Fox Sports Channel on Sirius XM.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.